Welcome back. You're watching us here on Halftime Report. The market's doing market things. So, before we go into the long weekend, there's a special segment that we do on Halftime Report. It's called Fund Race, where we speak about, the underlying trends that are playing out in the market right now. We do have with us DSG Consumers, Hariharan Premkumar, who's obviously the MD and head of India, where they do, make investments in a lot of these D2C consumer brands as well. So, let's talk about the insurgents versus incumbents battle, which is fairly heady in the consumer space right now. And their, Insurgent's report itself suggests that over the last few years, insurgent brands, Hari, have actually grown at times 2x, 3x or 4x, and in many categories at multiple times than what the incumbents have grown at. I mean, food and beverage market grew 1.5 times, the insurgents grew 3 times. Apparel and lifestyle market grew 1.2 times, the insurgents grew 5 times. What exactly have insurgent brands done right versus traditional consumer companies, and what differentiates a successful one versus the others?
Super. First of all, thank you for having me, Mangalam. And, I think the core of it is that insurgent brands are super plugged in to evolving consumer needs and have product offerings that are best suited to modern day consumer pain points. Examples being like sulfate-free shampoos, you have zero sugar ice creams like a Go Zero taking off in a big way. So that's typically how they, survive and thrive. When it comes to the successful insurgents, there are many things that they do well. I'd recommend the viewers to look at the report. It's on our website. But I think the top 3 factors will be, it starts with the product, a clearly differentiated product that is 10x better than whatever is available out in the market. The second thing is brand. We always say this, that a business becomes a brand when it builds an emotional connect with the customer. So very brand first in everything they do. And the third, and which is also a recurring theme in our report, is capital efficiency. The culture of being capital efficient, frugal growth, not raising unnecessary capital, and getting it to profitability and then scaling on the back of cash flows. So I think these 3 would be the big success drivers of successful insurgents.
Okay. Hari, I wanted to actually drill down on where exactly are they getting market share from, the insurgents. Is it grabbing market share from the incumbents or the existing players, or is there new demand which is being created?
It is, I think it's a mix of both. We sort of are very thematic in our thinking. There's premiumization, which is a theme that we're super bullish on, and as lifestyles improve, purchasing power increases, there are new consumption occasions that come up, in a customer's life. When we backed Epigamia, Greek yogurt was a non-existent category, right? And now it's a brand that literally owns the category. On the other hand, the other theme that's big for us is the unorganized to organized theme. Like if you take Farmly, which is a healthy snacking brand, it's largely unorganized, mainly dry fruits and nuts based products. So that's another theme, right? So I think we're still in the early stages of consumption in India. So it's more market creation, market growth game as opposed to a market share game, what you see in the West.
Hari, like you were mentioning, these are niche products which they enter into, some of them, sulfate-free shampoos. But there are so many such brands now who are coming in, small, newer brands that are coming in. How does one differentiate between each other as well in these brands as well, right? What will make them successful versus maybe someone who's launching with them right now?
No, absolutely. That's a very important question. And, and that's where we sort of think of it as, the positioning statement you can own in the minds of the customer, because there are so many brands screaming the same thing, as you rightly said. But you can just break it down, right? So it can, like for instance, there are many sulfate-free shampoos, but now we're seeing a wave of new insurgents, like addressing acne as a problem statement. For example, if you can own the acne positioning in the minds of a customer, in some cases you can really, I always say this to founders, if you can build a brand story around your personality, your story, then that will be unique always, right? And it's a matter of a bit of imagination, storytelling, but the possibilities are infinite.
But you know,
I just want to interrupt. I think it just reminds me of the nutritional segment, which is the nutritional product segment, which is taking place. And the only thing I could think of was magnesium.
right now it's magnesium or protein or gut health. So
Yeah, or gut
people are
health.
owning these
And now
spaces.
creatine is
They're trying
coming
to
up in
just
a big
Creatine
own
is the big
that
one,
space.
yeah. You know, but I have to ask you this. You said the playbook is here. It's early days, still not a full-fledged bloom that we're seeing in this space itself. But what we know about the incumbents is that they're quick to learn. They might be slow in execution, etc. They might be late entrants to a party, but they ensure that when they are there, they're the ones who eventually close the house down or be the last ones to leave that party. The case in point is green tea. Lipton wasn't the first one when it joined the green tea market. They were among the last ones to enter. And many years later, Lipton's the largest one here, along with some of the other incumbent players. So with traditional players now understanding this D2C playbook, is it going to be uphill for newer brands? I say that because you speak about the brand, you speak about the personality. A lot of the Unilevers of the world have come out with niche brands addressing specific needs or going ahead and acquiring some of these guys. So, will it be uphill? Will it be an uphill task for newer brands? That's one part of the question. And the other part is that none of these newer brands have actually gotten big scale offline. So what is the playbook for them to actually get scale offline?
Sure, taking the first question, which is around incumbents doing the playbook, I think it's just good for the entire ecosystem. Historically, in CPG, the best way incumbents have innovated is through acquisition, right? And our report has got amazing traction with the incumbents, and I know that some of them use it actively in analyzing acquisition targets. So I think it's a good thing. And the insurgent brands don't have to be worried about it because the fundamental advantage that the insurgents have will remain, which is speed of decision making, execution speed, and the ability to thrive in niche markets. Incumbents, by definition, find these market opportunities unattractive, too small at the moment, and the execution speed is like far slower, right? So that's that's how I look at it. I think it's in general good for the entire ecosystem. The second question was on, sorry.
The second question was, how do these guys scale beyond the initial?
Yeah, I think you got to be where the consumer is. We've been investing since 2012. First 9 years, D2C was not even a jargon, right? So I think the digital channels are channels where one can scale rapidly. Be it Q-commerce or marketplaces. The offline world is still building the business the old-fashioned way, brick by brick, pin code by pin code, pounding the street, chasing retailers, distributors, and collecting the money. So what I always urge founders is don't copy-paste expectations of digital channels onto the offline world. It's just a game of patience. It's no longer sitting in the corporate office optimizing algorithms. That's hard work, but this is a different kind of hard work. You've got to be with the distributors, retailers, and selling your product.
Okay, all right, Hari, we've run out of time, but an extremely interesting conversation and something which we're going to probably revisit because the dynamics of the industry is going to keep changing. Thanks very much for joining in and speaking with us and taking the time out and coming to our studios. We need to take a short break, but up next, we'll get you more. But before that, remember to tune in to the all-new CNBC TV 18 Prime, bringing you insights from policymakers, business leaders, and economists shaping both the world and India's future. CNBC TV 18 Prime decodes global shifts and their impact on Indian businesses, giving you unparalleled insights. Tune in to CNBC TV 18 Prime at 12 noon for the Global Reset, at 1 p.m. for the Big C, and Global Lens at 8:30 p.m.